Solana emergency update. Are we going to see Solana roll over to the downside to $20 and maybe even $10? And there's a good probability of that happening. Well, in today's video, we're going to go into the technical position of why. So if you like today's content, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let's dive straight into Solana. So a couple of days ago, I did a video called Solana is about to roll over to the downside. Are we about to see a Solana price crash? This is July 19th, right? That's a couple of days ago. And what we said was, just to reiterate, if you missed that content, is this correction. What typically occurs is a movement to the downside, right? That's what typically occurs more often than not. And that's what we're going to dive into in a bit more detail today. So let's just go into a live chart with Solana. What do we have? Well, it looks like we've got the initial top being confirmed because we've got this initial move to the downside. Now, this initial move to the downside is very significant, even though it's very early days. There's a couple of key factors that we're seeing that tells us it's highly probable that we're going to see this low down here exceeded, right? And that's what we're going to cover in a bit more depth today. So the first thing is we've got this something called a pattern reversal signal. It's an overlap. Basically, the closing price of the previous wave high, this swing high, this thing over here, the price has gone into that range and closed into that range. As a sign of weakness, my friends, a sign of weakness. By the way, if you wanted to get detailed workouts on this, and I do mean workouts, I've just launched something called the R15 Crypto Gym, where we do daily workouts. And one of the coins that we're looking at is Solana. We do detailed daily analysis, even dropping down to the hourly and looking at entry points, high probability trade setups, and so on and so forth. You get a load of goodies. You get an invite to my Telegram community, phenomenal community. You get the charts, and you also get a 7-day bootcamp. 7-day bootcamp, just the real core fundamentals of Elliott wave and Fibonacci price, the foundation of everything that we do. Now, I'm only looking for serious people that have a long-term plan to really leverage the crypto markets, learn and participate. But for £1, you get to check out the gym. Try it for £1. If you like it, you can stay. And yeah, it's pretty cool. We're getting great feedback because we're following this very, very tight. So with Solana, by the way, that's in the description link below. So with Solana now, I'm just going to zoom out for a second. There's a couple of factors, right? I'm just going to zoom out and I'm going to show you something really, really powerful and really relevant, So I'm just going to make this line show much, much clearer. So Solana has been on a massive downward trend for many months since November last year, right? Even if we go right the way back up to November last year, it's been down. And what tends to happen with most markets is the final part of a correction often breaks down into a 5-wave sequence. And what we're seeing over here is potentially the final part of that 5th wave sequence, right? And there's some particular ratios that we want to be aware of. And there's really two. I won't go into too much detail today, but I covered them in the bootcamp in terms of these ratios and in the daily workouts that we do with Solana. This is the Fibonacci price relationship to this correction. When you get this correction, typical is the market moves to a new low and it goes into the range of the 1.272 and the 1.618. In other words, $20 to $12. But we've got this red line down here. And you might be thinking, what is this red line based on, Jagir? Where's the logic? What does that mean? And what is the price of this red line? Well, more often than not, there's a principal guideline in Elliott wave theory called the guideline of equality. When wave 3 is the extended wave, so there's a pretty steep wave 3 over here, this wave down here. Wave 1, which is this over here, tends to equal wave 5, or wave 5 tends to equal wave 1. So if we measured this and projected it from here going down, well, this is where we get this red line from. And it says $5.50. I know that's extreme. That's like a 70%, 80% drawdown from where it is today, or drop down in price. But if we just forget that it's Solana and forget any biases that we may have, and we just purely look at it from a technical standpoint, it is likely, not guaranteed, because the market's going to do what the market's going to do, is that we're going to hit $20, but it's likely we may even go below $10 with Solana over the coming weeks. So we're going to keep a very, very close eye on this. You always want to manage this in a particular way. We use a 2-unit strategy, which is an insurance position. Assume you're wrong, take some early profits, so you're protecting your capital. And then second unit is assume you're right and ride the trend and compound that trend where it's logical and mechanical. So join me tomorrow for the R15 Crypto Gym workout if you want to get the detailed analysis on Solana. It's £1, 7 days. People are loving it. If you love it, stay. But I'm only looking for serious individuals. You can join the Telegram community and you're going to get a load of goodies, including my charts, the bootcamp, and so on and so forth. So if you like today's content, because today was, it's an important one. It's an important one because we've been watching Solana really, really tightly and being patient for this pattern reversal signal. Now we have it. Now we're just either in the short trade or we're looking for further compounding opportunities to enter the short trades. And there will be ABC pullbacks that we want to leverage because the weekly momentum is pointing down, as in it's oversold, overbought, should I say. And the daily momentum is pointing down. And the pattern position is pointing down. The price position is saying down. The time analysis is saying down. That's what you call a confluence of events. And when we get that edge, we become the casino and we take that trade without any hesitation or reservation in a confident, fearless manner, but without being reckless. Being reckless is if you don't have a stop loss. If you don't have a stop loss, you're in trouble. You're in trouble big time because there's going to be a point in the market where it does what you don't expect it to do, and that will damage your portfolio, and it's hard to recover from like a 20, 30, 40, 50% drawdown. So you want to be really, really aware of that also. So let's finish today on a quote. We're going to go with chapter 2 today. Chapter 2. We'll go with chapter 2. It's Warren Buffett. And he says, rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget. Rule number 1. Now, even when the trade setup looks as good as this, we got the pattern is just textbook. Like it doesn't get much better than that in terms of a very clean correction. We got price, we got momentum, we got time analysis, all saying the same thing. We still only risk 3%. But then it's always good practice to assume you're wrong. So you're taking some early profits and adjusting your stop losses. And then in your profit position, assume you're right and give the rest of your position loads of room. Because the market's going to do what it's going to do, but put your stop loss in a place which will invalidate or void the analysis. And if that happens, great. We take a small loss or we make a small profit or we break even. But if we're right, then we just compound it and we know that the trend is your friend. We ride it until its end, until it reaches its bend. So join me tomorrow for Solana's detailed workout in the R15 Crypto Gym. It's £1 for 7 days. If you like it, I think you'll love it. You can stay and you get a load of goodies. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Let's keep a close eye on Solana and let's get as much juice as we can from shorting Solana over the coming weeks, especially if it does unfold. And it is an if, because we can only ever do probabilities and never certainties. All right, see you soon.